Hey there. Today we're going to talk about minimum requirements. Whether you're thinking about buying a new game, or if your game is crashing or freezing, it's important to understand how to use the minimum requirements list, as it tells us the hardware and the software required to run a game. If you had a console, all you would have to do is make sure that your game disk is for the right system, and that you have space to save the game. In simpler terms, you wouldn't be able to play an Xbox game on a PlayStation. Computers typically perform less consistently than game consoles, as they're not standardized, and their hardware and software can be customized in many different ways. When you compare different computers, you may notice a lot of the same parts listed, but one computer may be more powerful than the other. This is why we have a minimum requirements list, or guidelines, for what you need to run a game on your computer at the lowest settings. The main components you'll need to take into consideration are operating system, processor, memory, or RAM, graphics card, sound card, and hard drive. The first thing we'll cover is the operating system. The operating system manages all of your software and the hardware that allows you to communicate with your computer. The operating system is also in charge of managing the programs that you have running and ensuring that each running program has access to the hardware resources on your computer, such as memory, hard drive space, and processing power. For your purposes, you just need to make sure that you have an operating system that is listed in the game's minimum requirements. In this case, since you're on a PC, your operating system will likely be Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 10. Next, we'll cover the processor, also known as the Central Processing Unit, or CPU. The processor is in charge of thinking about all the instructions you're sending to your computer. Two of the most important things to consider when reviewing your processor are the number of cores and the number of bits listed for it. The number of cores your processor has and the number of bits listed will determine how much it can think about at once. This is important when you're playing a game because your processor is focusing on running the game itself, as well as handling all the other functions your PC is performing in the background. The processor works closely with your graphics card. The processor sends the graphics card information about any programs that need to be displayed to your monitor. The graphics card then handles the processing necessary to render any graphics. This is how you're able to see your game and not just a black screen. The graphics card is also responsible for rendering the video game environments. Games use graphics cards to handle these intense calculations so that your CPU can focus on other tasks. Your RAM, or random access memory, is what holds all of the information your computer is thinking about at once. The more memory you have, the more programs you'll be able to run at the same time. This storage of information is temporary, so if you close your game, your computer stops thinking about it until the next time you open it. Unlike RAM, your hard drive is where information is permanently stored. This is where your game gets installed. Games typically require a lot of space on your hard drive, and without enough hard drive space, you won't be able to install the game. Your sound card is what converts digital audio signals to sound waves that you can hear. The output of this sound comes through either speakers or a pair of connected headphones. While the sound card isn't necessary to run the game, it will be necessary to hear it. Most modern motherboards will have a built-in sound card, although a dedicated sound card will usually yield higher quality audio. And that's the basics of minimum requirements. If you'd like to see if your PC meets the minimum requirements to play one of our games, you can find the specifications listed on that game's minimum requirements page here on the support website. If you'd like some assistance comparing your PC specs with the minimum requirements, you can open a support ticket and one of our agents will be happy to help.